Okay, this is Go Math chapter 11. This is the review. So I'm going to do the review and then you're going to do the one on the app. So question number 1 says Elaine makes a rectangular pyramid from paper. The base is a rectangle and the lateral faces would be triangles because the pyramid has triangles on the lateral faces. Question 2. Daryl paints all sides except the bottom of the box shown below. Select the expressions that show how to find the surface area that Daryl painted. Mark all that apply. So on this one, if I go 20 times 15, that's where they're getting this 300. And then if I go 15 times 12, that's where the 180 is coming from. And then it says the last thing I have to do is 20 times 12. And that's where the 240 is coming from. But A will not work because it says that he is not going to color the bottom. So this won't work because he has 240 on here twice, 180 on here twice, and 300 on there twice. So that one's wrong. Let's go to B. B is 2 times 20 plus 12 plus 2 times 15 times 12 plus 20 times 15. That would work because you're only going to count that 20 by 15 one time because you're not doing the bottom. So B will be correct. C has it on here 20 times 12 twice, 15 times 12 twice, and 20 times 15 once. So that would be correct. And then this one is wrong because this one would be volume. And we're not doing volume for this problem. We're doing surface area, not including the bottom. So that won't work. Number 3, a prism is filled with 44 cubes with half unit side lengths. What is the volume of the prism in cubic units? So this goes back to that investigate that we did. And remember that if there is a half, if it's the half unit side lengths, remember there's 8 of those in a cubic unit. So we would have to divide. So it's going to be 44 divided by 8. Which would be 5 times 8 is 40, subtract, and that would be 4/8 left over, which would be 5.5. So it would be 5.5 cubic units. Remember, that just goes back to that lesson where there's 8 half unit cubes or whatever in a unit, in a cubic unit. Okay, number 4. A triangular pyramid has a base with an area of 11 3/10 square meters and lateral faces with bases of 5 1/10 meters and heights of 9 meters. Write an expression that can be used to find the surface area of the triangular pyramid. So I know if I'm trying to find a triangle, it's going to be half times base times height. And so my base for this is, it says bases of 5 1/10 and then heights of 9. And then I have, this is a triangular pyramid. So that means I have 3 of these. And then I have the area of the base. So if I just go 3 times this quantity, and then I have to add the area of that base. So that would be a formula that would work for this. Question number 5. Jeremy makes a paperweight for his mother in the shape of a square pyramid. The base of the pyramid has a side length of 4 centimeters and the lateral faces have heights of 5 centimeters. After he finishes, he realizes that the paperweight is too small and decides to make another one. To make the second pyramid, he doubles the length of the base in the first pyramid. So for numbers 5A through 5C, we're going to choose yes or no to indicate whether the statement is correct. Okay, so I'm just going to draw it really quick. It's supposed to be a square pyramid, right? A square pyramid. So I know that the base is going to be a square. I'm not going to draw all that. I'm just going to draw this. This is the first one, and it has, it says a side length of 4 centimeters, and then the height is going to be 5 centimeters, it says. So this is 5 centimeters. And then the second one he does, it says that he is going to double the base, right? It says he realizes the paperweight is too small, so he doubles the length of the base. So if I do double, 4 doubled, that would be 8, but he doesn't change the height. So the height is still 5 centimeters. And so it says the surface area of the second pyramid is 144 centimeters squared. So if I'm looking for the surface area, I'm going to have to do each face, which would be, it's a triangle because it's a pyramid. So it's half times base times height. So then I'm going to go half times the base is 8 and the height is 5. Half of 8 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I'm going to have 4 of those because it's a square pyramid. So those are my sides, but then I also have my base. And so my base is a square, which is 8 by 8. So that'd be 64. So then I'm going to go 80 plus 64. And yes, that would be true. Okay, so then this part 5B says the surface area doubled from the first pyramid to the second pyramid. So then I have to find the surface area of the first pyramid. And so the base of each triangle was 4 and the height was 5. So I'm going to use the same formula, half times base times height. So half times 4 is the base times 5 is the height. And then half of 4 is 2, and 2 times 5 is 10. I accidentally said 20 earlier. So then 10 times 4, because I have 4 of those on my pyramid, which would be 40. And then I also have my base of my pyramid, which is a square, which is 4 by 4, which would be 16. And so then I add 40 plus 16 and I get 56. And so it says that it doubled. So if I go 56 times 2, that's 112. So no, it did not double. So this is no. Okay, the 5C says the lateral area doubled from the first pyramid to the second. So the lateral area was this 10 times 4, which was 40. For my small one, it's 40. For my large one, it's 80. So yes, it doubled. Okay, question 6. Identify the figure shown and find its surface area. Explain how you found your answer. So this is a square or a rectangular pyramid. It's a square pyramid though, because it has a base of 9 by 9. But you could also write rectangular. Either one of those is correct. So square pyramid or rectangular pyramid are both considered correct. And then I have to find the surface area. So for the sides, I'm going to do half times base times height. My base is 9. My height is 16. So I'm going to do half of 16, which is 8. And then 8 times 9 is 72. And then I have 4 of those because there's 4 sides. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 7, 28. And then I have my base, which would be 9 by 9. So 9 times 9 is 81. And then I have to add that to my lateral sides. So I get 369 square inches for my surface area. Okay, question number 7. Dominic has a box of sewing buttons that is in the shape of a rectangular prism. The volume of the box, volume, we could write the formula, volume equals length times width times height. So they did 2.5 times 3.5 times 2. And then that would be, I have to plug everything in. So my length is 3.5 by my width is 2.5 by my height is 2. And I'm going to rewrite these mixed numbers as improper. So that's 7 halves. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 halves times 2 over 1. I'm going to cross cancel. These 2's will cancel. My greatest common factor is 2, so those become 1's. So then I just have 7 times 5 is 35 divided by 2 times 1 is 2. And then I'm just going to rewrite this as a mixed number. So this line means divide. So 35 divided by 2. And then that's 7 times 2 is 14, and 1 is left over. So it's 17.5 cubic inches. Okay, number 8. Emily has a decorative box that is shaped like a cube with a height of 5 inches. What is the surface area of the box? So if it's a cube, all the sides are squares. So then if I find the area of one square, it's 5 by 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. And then a cube has 6 sides. So it's 150. 150 inches squared. Okay, next one. Albert recently purchased a fish tank for his home. Match each question with the geometric measure that would be most appropriate for each scenario. How much water can the fish tank hold? Well, that will be volume. So that's going to go with this one down here, the volume of the fish tank. How much material would it take to cover the entire fish tank? That has to do with surface area. So that's the surface area of the fish tank. And then how much space would the fish tank occupy on the table? That would be just the area of the base of the fish tank. Question number 10. Select the expressions that show the volume of the rectangular prism. Mark all that apply. So this first one says 2 times 2.5, and there's 2 of those. It wants the whole surface area. What does it say? It wants the volume. The volume. So 2 times, this one would be surface area. This would not be volume, so that's not correct. This next one says 2 times plus 4 times, no, that's not correct either. This one would be correct. It would just be 2 units times a half unit times 2.5 units, so C is right. And then if I solve it, volume equals length times width times height, it's going to be 2 times the width is a half and the height is 2.5. So if I do that, that's 5 halves. This will cancel. So it's 5 halves. This line means divide. So that's going to be 2 times 2 is 4 with 1 half left over. So yes, 2.5 cubic units.